Hello, Jasmine. How are you? Good evening. Thank you for joining me on today. I'm so glad to be with you. Hello there, Haka. Hello there, Elephant Room Studio. Well, hello there. How are you, Danielle? Thank you for joining me on today. I'm excited about being with you. We're going to wait till a few more people come on. How many of you want to go on Clubhouse? I want to join with Clubhouse also on this. Thank you so much for joining with me. And I really appreciate those of you who are emailing me and subscribing to my video. She said, happy, all Holocaust are happy to be on time for the live. Me too. Hello, Shanley. How are you? Thank you for joining with me, Latoya. Good evening, everyone. We are excited about what we're going to talk about. I really appreciate the information that when we go live, a lot of people have said how this has really, really helped them, which has really just blessed me that they're getting the help that they need. Thank you so much for all the things that you share. So it let you know that what you went through is not in vain. She said, I'm doing okay, gorgeous. She said, I'm to work. She said, but I got an alert that you on live. Oh, bless your heart. Thank you for taking the time out to spend a few minutes with us as you go to work then. I pray that your work day is really, really awesome. You know, we're going to talk about it. We started last week. I'm going to do the final portion of dating relationship and the characteristics of a narcissist. If we had have had some of the information that we are getting on these lives and on these videos when we were dating, I think a lot of things would have just been squashed right there. A lot of things would have been handled right there. And I got questions, well, why wasn't I able to identify it? Because if I had known it, I would not have continued. A lot of times when you meet the narcissist, it's so mesmerizing, it's so wonderful. And we call that the spirit of persuasion because they are dynamic in their charisma to pull you over. And they have studied you when they meet you. They're looking at your persona, they're looking at your behavior, your nonverbal communication speak louder than your verbal communication. And many of you know about that. So let's talk about that. Let's deal with that. And so those of you who have not, if you're on and you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, and share the page. It would be greatly appreciated. So let's talk about some characteristics of the narcissist. The narcissist is very selective in who they choose because they protect themselves from a narcissistic injury. So they take and they screen their supply very, very carefully and make sure that their supply is really subjected to trauma bonding. She said, I finally got cut off everyone from my church. She said they're even being exposed for gossiping. Oh, wow. So you no longer go there, Haka? Are you totally out from the church? And what caused you? Did you leave or did they separate? Which one happened first? Which one happened first? Let's see what information we got. Hello there, Ernestine. How are you? Thank you for joining with us. How with the things that you went through, it's probably a good thing. Well, it is a good thing that you are not with them. Because a lot of times people who have joined with the narcissist that are flying monkey going to do exactly what the narcissist say. And the narcissist makes sure that after they discard you and they know that they have no way of coming back in or they don't plan to come back in, many times they automatically start the smear campaign. She said, I stopped going. She said, I've decided my mental health was more important. She said, I went to church a few weeks ago and she said, and they lied to my face saying that they were making lessons about me. Ooh, that they weren't making lessons about me. How could I say I can't be under leadership of liars and fellowship with flying monkeys. Absolutely. You know, the religious narcissists can be some of the worst one because they take advantage of the vulnerable. They do that already, but they really do it in a religious setting because most people in a lot of time in a religious setting is very, very complacent and they are unchallenging. You know, whatever that person say, that's what they do instead of challenging things that they may feel that is wrong, confronting things that they feel that is not right. You can always go to the leader, and if you still don't get any answers, you're not obligated to stay in a harmful place that will hurt you. And religious narcissists that are in leadership can be quite troubling because they have the mass, and 9 times out of 10, the church is a church of flying monkeys, and they're going to vouch for them, but they have no principles, they have no truth, they're gossiping, they almost destroyed your life. You know, when you talk about that, that should never ever happen in a church, and I would not encourage anyone to stay in an environment like that. So what else do we have? Absolutely, Haka. She said, I cannot be under that. You know what? And not even God expect for you to do that. Not even God expect for you to be under a church where the leadership is polluted and the people are polluted and they are all under the auspices of a flying monkey. No, God don't want that for you, and we don't want that for you. So let's see what we have here. All right. And so Shane Lee said, my ex-husband has been stalking me for 2 years and has had my tires flattened several times. She said, I have a restaurant in Houston, Texas, and I am being gang stalked and stalked. You know, you can file a restraining order if you have some proof of that. Like if you had old texts that the narcissists have written to you, or if you have any information, maybe you filed a police report if there's violence in the past, that will help. Or even if you can get a couple of statements or a few statements from some friends stating that they know that the narcissist is very dangerous, because stalking for 2 years is horrendous. Stalking for 2 years is horrendous, especially if you know the class and the school of the narcissist. The lower narcissists can be very violent because they're very reactionary instead of responsive. And then when you get up into the upper grade narcissists, they can be very calculative and very methodical because what they do is very intentional, but they're very wise in their schemes to keep their hands clean and make sure all of their flying monkeys. And when they gang stalk you like that, there are so many people that are at your that is after you until you don't know whether you're going to come in, but you can't live by fear. You have to think with clarity, and you can file a restraining order. She said the other members threatened to come to my house. She said these are people I'm not even close to, and one pulled a weapon on me as well. Well, you should have called the police, Haka. That should have been a police call. Tiana says, Shane Lee, could this be my ex-husband? She said, I just had my car totally destroyed by my ex-husband. His girlfriend is stalking me too. Wow. And this is Tiana. You know, yeah, that is the behavior. Remember what we're talking about, dating and the characteristics of a narcissist. And this is the characteristics of a narcissist. Anytime the narcissists feel like they can't get back in, or you're holding out and they are trying to hoover you, but you are not acting positive to the hoover, it angers them because that's a narcissistic injury. Because remember, they have a sense of entitlement, and that sense of entitlement let them know that if they want something, they can have it. And if they don't get it, they start having temper tantrums. Yeah, Shan Lee said those are the traits. Absolutely. Yes, Jackie Touch, you made the live. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. And you know, one thing about the narcissist, when they get into stalking, you have to be very careful with them because they are taking snapshots in their mind of your life. If there's someone that comes to your house, they can be very aggressive about that. It could be a family member. They don't care. They're going to put you where they've been. And because they've been unfaithful, because they've been cheaters, they'll think you cheating. It could be your brother. And if they are a malignant narcissist or pathological uh, narcissist, or psychotic, they can be very psychotic in their mental state. And because they feel like someone has instigated your attention or have pulled your attention, and they feel like they're pulling their supply, because remember, to the narcissist, you are their property. You're not their person. You are their property. They call you a wife, but really they look at you like property. And so it doesn't matter if you not been with them. Shan Lee said 2 years. He's been stalking her 2 years, and he haven't backed off. And until his mind clears that port with probably a new supply, that he needs to spend time with that supply, because he's trying to make that her the mainstream supply. And the reason, Shanley, he's spending a lot of time with you trying to hoover you back in is because you were the primary supply. So it's obvious that he haven't been able to get supply like the fuel that you were giving him. And it's not love, it's a fuel based thing. And so he's getting fuel, he's getting supply, but for some reason it's this niche that he likes with you. And that is not positive, because the narcissists like people that they can take advantage of, people that's going to let them have their free will, that's going to cater to their needs, that's going to subject themselves to what the narcissists want, and basically going to deny their life, their life, themselves, their worthiness for the narcissist, because the narcissist is like a spoiled child. They have temper tantrums when they can't have their way. They get angry when they can't have their way. They frustrate everybody, everything when they can't have their way. They make sure nothing goes good for you. But being stalked for 2 years would make me kind of apprehensive, because if he's a malignant narcissist, sociopath, psychopathic narcissist, they can be very, very dangerous. So make sure you have a note of that. Make sure you file the report. Even if they don't do anything, file the report. But if you got some hardcore paperwork, that when you were with them that they were violent, that if you had a police report, this will give you more credibility in getting a restraining order, where they can come in hundreds of feet of where you are, no matter where you are. Shane Lee said, every time I walk to my restaurant, there's a stranger walking behind me. Should I close my business? I don't know what to do. Of course not. That's your livelihood. Shouldn't close your business. You should handle your business, but not close your business. I wouldn't close my business for a narcissist. If he's malignant, then you need to get the law involved, because if he's following you and he has some perverted, devastating things on his mind, it can be very dangerous for you. I would not go anywhere right now by myself unless I had to. So if you can have someone else to be with you, preferably a male, I would do that. However, if they're malignant narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, it can be very dangerous. It can be a dangerous situation. And this is why, Shanley, I was saying you should get the law involved. Shanley, how long have you? It's been at least 2 years away from the narcissist, because he's been stalking you for 2 years. I would definitely get the law involved. If you have a friend there, or if you have an employee that you can trust that works there, maybe you can have the employee where you park to make sure your car is out of sight. If you have a garage, to put your car in to make sure your car is out of sight, and have them meet you when you arrive there, so you will never be by yourself. Kelly Austin said, this is true. She said, I was appalled how childish he could be. Yeah, she said he would react when he could not have his way, or I didn't agree with him, every single time. every single time. They're very, very immature. And you got to remember wherever their traumatized arena was, because some of them register trauma very early. Excuse me. So something could have happened to them when they was young. So what you see is a display of a 9-year old, display of a 16-year old, and you see this teenager in your house, in your bed, and that's what they act like. And if you have children, they act on the same pattern as that child and as their age group, because the narcissist wants to have their way, and if they can't have their way, they're very belligerent and they're very agitated, and they just disrupt the whole atmosphere. They leave no peace to you because they can't get their way, and they keep on, and then when they finally get their way, it's even more of a struggle for you, and then it turns to mockery. They start to mock you now that you've given in. Hello, that's Miss Marybelle. How are you? She said, my narc beat me in 2019. Now he's trying to come back, apologizing and everything. She said, I'm scared to give him a chance. You don't give him a chance. You, if it's going to get worse, it never get better. The statistics of it getting better is 0%. Is 0%, not 0.5%, not 60%, it's 0%, 0.0000%, because the narcissist is a personality disorder. Personality disorder in the manual tells you, the health manual tells you that it doesn't change. They're the same. They are that way to the core. That is their mindset. Everything that stems from their thinking, from what they do, from their action and their operation is from their core being. Their core is the narcissist. And so when their core is a narcissist, don't you go back. It can be very dangerous for you if you go back, Miss Marybelle. Do not go back. Never go back. Hello, Pinky K. Ooh, it's been a while. How are you? I am doing great. Cluster B Free Karen says, Apostle Helen, the ex keeps stalking. She said, even though there is a restraining order, acts like a 5-year-old at 71 years old. She said, and would have a stumping temper tantrum. You know what? Karen, I can see why he acts like a baby, and I can see why he stalks, because you got 33 years. Do you think he got the same comfort where he is? He's getting the same treatment where he is? Absolutely not, because who would put up with what you put up for 33 years? I couldn't say that even 5% of the people he knows will put up with that. And so when you got main supply that was giving you that fuel, and you're not getting that fuel right now, and at 71 years old, he's probably having a very difficult time. Older narcissists are more tremendous in their narcissistic ways. They are more selfish, they are more taking and less giving, and they've had 71 years of practice. And even though they go to other supply, the other supply is not like you, not like 33 years that put up with them, that dealt with them, that got discarded, took them back and discarded, took them back, cheated, took them back, gaslighting, took them back. So they keep doing this roller coaster. That's why he's stalking. Miss Maybell said, thank you so much, Apostle Helen. Yes, baby. And if you do anything, listen to me, it's going to save you a heart of trouble. It's like living with a murderer. A murderer is a murderer. And that's why he got his name, because he didn't murder one time. He's a murderer. He keep murdering. He's a serial killer. And narcissists are serial traumatizers. They are serious cheaters. They are serious, a serial abuser. So when you got a serial abuser, a serial cheater, a serial destroyer, that's what they do. That is their legacy. That is their heritage. That's what they do, and they're not going to change. So Marybelle, I'm glad that you're going to stick to what you know that's going to strengthen you and build you and help you to recuperate. I don't know how long it's been, but you have to recover from this. We got Karen all the way from Hawaii. She spent 33 years. And Karen, how long has it been since you've been out of it with him? She said, Helen, he is downgraded to an 85-year-old meth addicted homeless grandmother. Oh my God, that's why he wants to come back. He is deteriorating. And even sometimes, even though the narcissist is abused with the supply, they keep him. They keep them fed. They keep them warm. They keep them covered. They bathe them. So they get all of the amenities, even though the supply is in torment. They get all the amenities. They got a home to come to, even though they're going to wreck their home. They're going to torment the supply. They still got a place to go. But now he's homeless, and it's hard out there. It's difficult out there. Why? Because he's out there with people who think like him. They don't care. So he's out there with people who don't care. Now he's transitioned over to homosexuality, and that's not gonna make it good because he's what, 85, 75, or how old, whatever age he is. And so he's older in the competition with those who are younger, who are out in the street. Thank you, Shanley. Thank you so much for blessing me. I really appreciate that. And so when they're out there like that, that is very difficult. He's cold, and he's probably got a lot of narcissistic injury. I mean, they are injuring him because he's with his own kind, probably out there. And like he don't care, they don't care. So you got all these people who don't care in a destitute situation. He won't warm. He want to feel love, even though he can't love. They always want someone to love them because that's the thing they can't do. That's the thing they was deprived of. That's the thing that many of them were starving for. So they want you to give to them what they can't give, and they want you to give to them what they crave. They long for it. They long for love because many of them probably been abused. Many of them probably been abandoned and rejected. So now they're using you to make up the difference. Yeah, she said, Miss Mary Bell said, Apostle Helen, I've been talking to him. Should I just stop communicating without a reason? Of course. Do you have any little children? Do you have property? Do you have anything that is invested that is together with him? Maribel, do you have children? Do you have any kind of business that is invested together with him? Because if you don't have a reason to stay because your abuse will continue. It will not stop. Oh, thank you, Shanley. She said, I'm very grateful for all you do for us. God bless you. Hey, Christine, how are you? Thank you for joining us on today. We got something. She said, no, ma'am, I don't. Get away. Stay away. NC, anytime you hear us talk about NC, that's no contact. No contact is just that. No contact via social media, no contact telephonically, computer, letter, no contact. If you see him in a place, boom, you keep on going because you got to remember he's going to stir up all of those hormonal systems and hormones in your body that is used to him because he's going to ignite your memory, and then your biology is going to start going off. Your chemistry is going to start going off because if you ever lived with the narcissist, they train the mind. They train your thoughts. They train your emotions. They train your will. They train your imagination. They train your perception. They even train your goal. They diminish your energy so you don't have energy to do anything. All of that's gonna kick in once the rumination come, once the memory is ignited. All of that come back, and even when you was resistance, when you was away from them, you'll find that once you meet them and talk to them, Mary Bell, that your resistance level goes lower and lower. The more time you talk to him, the less resistance you're gonna put up, and before you know it, you're back in the same place, and then you ask the question, why did I come back? But now it's on. You got all the torment. You got everything that is there. Everything is active. Everything is in real time. And in that real time, you have to go through it one day at a time. And if you would allow yourself to remember, why did you leave? What was it that made you very uncomfortable? You have to remember the reason why you left, and it will help you to stay away. Haka said the narc's friends start asking my mom about me. It's just too much. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are just flying monkeys. That's the information center. He wants to see what is going on so he'll know how to tap back into you, because they like to pull that string. You got to make sure you cut the cord, because if you don't cut the cord, everywhere you go, so do he. Cluster B said, 10 months, 2 weeks. She said all his flying monkeys have deserted him. They are threatening him with weapons. She said he's been beaten up twice. He's attacking men that are 5'3" and he's 6'3". Wow. Yeah, because it's hard. It's difficult for old narcissists. It's very difficult. And that's why the old narcissists, the spirit of persuasion, they try to get younger because they need that energy. And so they try to get someone younger. And when they get that younger person, if you give that younger person a year or two, then you notice the younger person start looking older and the narcissist are sorry looking younger, because he's draining them of their energy. He's draining them of their gold. And it's almost like an illegal transference that whatever that younger person does, because remember, the narcissists live by mirrored reflections. And the mirrored reflection is what they got from that person, that they mirrored that person and they start to reflect that life as their own. Uh, yeah, Mary Bell said he came to my house 3 times uninvited. He's talking to you now. He won't respect you. He don't even respect your time. He don't respect your privacy. He's talking to you now. That's what he's going to do when he come back. He's not going to respect anything. He's not going to give you anything. He's going to make sure your life is a living hell. And it's going to be 7 times the hell that you went through with him. And the reason he don't call, because you're his property. You're his supply. You're like a toaster. You put bread in the toaster, you push the toaster. When it's up, you move the toaster back and take the substance. And that's what they do. They move you back and take your substance. They take your whole life, your whole mind, everything about you, they take. And when they're done, they just push you away until they need you again. That discard is not always leaving. Sometimes that discard is paying you no attention, in the same place, in the same facility. They may be in the room with you and not say anything. They do, and what it is, we call it the narcissistic shadow. They give you their shadow because the shadow has no substance. It can't speak. The real thing speak. The shadow portray that the real is there, but it cannot speak. And that's what the narcissist does, is silence. When the narcissist wants to silence you. And so what is happening, Mary Bell, is he trying to get in, and he already, I promise you, picked up on your weakness. He's already picked up on your struggle. So what he's going to do is intensify his move, intensify, because right now you got a restricted Hoover. That means everything is not clear and you still got some restriction. You still got some holdback. So what they're going to do is keep pushing and pushing, pushing till the restriction come down and you're more susceptible and you are getting what you already had, but now in a worse state. Okay, so what do we have here? Danielle. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Hey, Grandma JJ, how are you? She's a narcissist, takers of soul. Yeah, soul eaters. They digest them. They digest them. And they take it, they take your soul apart one day at a time, one moment at a time. You lose yourself when you're with them. You never gain. People who say they gain with a narcissist do not, they are very unaware of what they have, because you never gain with a taker. You always lose. They always overdraft your bank account and they make no deposits. And because they make no deposits and they make all these withdrawals, after a while you're going to end with an NSF. Cluster B said, Miss Mary Ellen, she said, write down all the evil things, beating, name calling, cheating. She said, that will remind you when the trauma bond makes you want to give in. She said, they hit you once, they will hit you again. Yep, it's a cycle. It's a cycle with them. She said, Apostle, my ex called me last week again from different number. I guess he's using his cousin phone, and he is relentless. If you don't recognize a number, Christina, don't answer. And if he's calling from familiar numbers, don't answer, because those, it is really hitting you and it's really wearing and tearing on you. If you like a blouse and you love that blouse, if you wore that blouse every day or every other day, you will wear that blouse out, and somehow to your conscious, you will become immune to it. After a while, the love and the light that you have for that blouse, you don't even want the blouse anymore. And so the more that you give in to the narcissist, the level of respect that they are portraying and falsifying is going to go down, because they know that you're yielding. They know that you're bending. And just when they know that they've hit that core where you want them back, but you still in resistance, they go into trauma bonding. They go in gaslighting. They flip flop you back and forth until they confuse you, so until emotionally you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. You just know that you don't want to go through what you've been through. But if it's like a baby, when you are in labor, you promise you're never going to have another baby. That labor pain is so horrendous. And then boom, you have the baby, you hold the baby in your arms, take the baby home, the baby running through the house. Next thing you know, you back in the hospital because you having the second child, third child, fourth child, fifth child. That's the way it is with a narcissist. You will soon forget the pain of labor, and then you will remember the pain of having it there, and the pain of having it there. And when you get the pain of having it there, it's too late. You're in it. It's, you're in it. So now you got to go to escape modes, and you got to get an escape route. And a lot of times when each time you go back, you're going to notice the escape route get difficult, more difficult, because they are transitioning your mind. They're writing on the tables of your mind what they want you to be. And it's hard for you to fight when they transcribe your mind, because now you are thinking like the narcissist want you to think. And when you think like the narcissist want you to think, you become what the narcissist wants you to be. And next thing you know, you don't even know yourself. You're looking in the mirror saying, who is that person? You know, your eyes look dull. You look far away. You don't look like you have any life in your eyes. And all of a sudden, the goals that you was very determined about and very energetic about, you don't even have those goals no more. I mean, you're just drained. You're just like a walking skeleton with skin and bones and motion and movement. But everything is gone. And you have to get yourself back before you leave. Let's see what else. We got MW, MMXW say, please do not go back. She said, I had left them for 6 months at the beginning because I knew something was wrong. She said, but I did not know he was a narcissist. And when I took him back, he was trying to get me to kill. Oh, wow. Now that's some serious stuff right there. Hello, Tenshawn. That's really some serious stuff. Christina said, it's funny. They never answer when they ghost. She said, but now waiting for your calls nonstop and can't wait to hear from you. And she said, you want nothing to do with them. The irony of how the tables turn. And you know what, Christina, prayerfully, you'll keep it that way. You'll keep it that way. Listen to me. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. It's like loving, it's like meeting your first love that you're still in love with, and then you talk to them all the time. And then they're asking, then they're telling you, can we just be friends? How we gonna just be friends if we were in love with each other and we're seeing each other every day as friends? No, all of the emotions that you have will stir up, even though that's where the trauma bond come in. Because, and like Karen said, that trauma bond will start working, because even though you recognize you've been abused, even though you recognize it can happen again, that cognitive dissonance would cause you to override things, and you would divert the truth, and the next thing you know, you're caught up in the lie, and you want to beat yourself. And sometimes some of you want to clock out, because you thinking, how could I have been so crazy to come back to this right here? And you are in total devastation. And then your family looking, and people know that you said that you was going through, and now you're back. Now they don't even want to help. They don't even want to do anything. The narcissist then will isolate you. If you notice, each time you come back, they do more isolation and control, because they got evidence that you will escape, or they got evidence that once they discard you, that you go NC. And once the narcissists know you cause those kind of injuries, they are very hesitant about letting you go. So when they do a discard, they do it knowing that you're trauma bonded. They know that they can come back to the place that they left. Trauma bonded is just that. If you separate those words and see what each mean, then you put that together. That's trauma bonded. And I mean, they bond you to trauma. And that's the whole relationship. It's a lie from the beginning, and it'll be a lie all the way through it. Christina said, that's what I said. I think he's thinking I was just an answer one day, and I don't even answer my friend. I call the number back just to make sure it's not him using, where are you, Christina? App to show their number. I wouldn't call him back. Don't call him back, because that's effort. That's his go ahead. If you do any kind of positive motion to them, that's the go ahead. They think that you already missed them. Think that you're already thinking about them. They think that you can't do anything about them. And so the narcissist, you got to remember, the narcissist is working with a dark force. And that dark force is working on the behalf of that narcissist to get you in that web of alliance. A spider, a black wooded spider, she sets the trap. And when she sets the trap, she moves out of the way so her prey can get on that sticky web, and his vibration censors her that it's time to come. And what she does is put her venom inside of him, which breaks him down from the inside, and all is left is a shell, because she liquefies the inside and sucks him out. And that's what the narcissist does. They liquefy you. They take away your strength. They take away your tenacity, your determination. They take away your goals and all of your aspiration and inspirations. They take all of them away, and they suck you inside out. And when people see you, you look all together, but there's nothing inside. All of your inside has been eaten by the narcissist. And so you're just a shell, moving, walking. It's like a dead man walking, a dead woman walking. Why should you go back to that when you have so much life to live? Because you can get over a broken heart. You can get over a heartache. But your life, it's hard to get it back as it is. You can get it back, you can recover, but look what it takes for you to recover. It takes longer for you to recover than when you was with the narcissist. It takes more for you to recover than when you was with the narcissist. He can damage in a minute, and it takes 6 months to undo that minute. So it's not even worth it. Um, Let me see here. Shanley said, it's normal for us to feel uneasy and to become non-trusting of people. And how do we regain or restore norm in our life and begin to learn to trust people? Your normal will never be the same. So don't even use normal. Just use recovery. Yeah, we cover recovering life, but what is norm? Because we test everything, we try everything, we prove everything, we take folk to the limits until you get free. And when you get free, then that instinct inside of you would start discerning more appropriately and more efficiently. because of what you've been through. So it's never a norm. People say the new norm. What is norm? Just because it's a new season, a new time, what can I say? The way you handle things has to go in a different way. That's your norm. Your recovery is your norm. Your restriction against everything that reminds you of what you've been through. That's your norm. And yes, Shanley, it takes time to build trust because it's been so violated. It's going to take time for you to build trust. Even in family, because of flying monkeys, you're not going to trust anyone but God. You don't trust no one but God. And so a lot of times that has to be rebuilding because it's people that's going to help you. It's people that's going to help you recover. So you can't get rid of people. You're going to need people. It's which people. You got to make sure that you're able to discern. Trust those feelings that you sense. When things are not right, you get this gnawing on the inside of you. You may not know what it is, but trust it. Trust it until you can learn better. If you get that gnaw and it said no, the answer is no. And you don't even know why you're saying no. I'm going to say no until I find out a reason to say yes. And so you have to do that. And the longer you stay in C, the longer you stay in the escape mode, the wiser you get. And soon all of those fears and Shanley, all of those apprehensions that you have will be a memory. It'll be a distant memory, just as the narcissist. It is a way to get over the narcissist, but it is work. It took work to stay there, and it's going to take work to stay away. Either way you work, I would rather work staying away. Um, okay. Christina say, that's why I said I think he's thinking, okay, we read that one. Um, Christina said, trust, we have nothing to talk about anyone. Cheat is not a soulmate. He's my abuser. Once I get the facts, there is no change in my mind. She said, plus studying me, so he's dangerous for my mental and my healing. Yeah, he's dangerous all the way around. And Hakasa Shenli, it can be overwhelming, but there's still good people in the world. In a weird way, the narcs are have taught us a lot. I told you all, if anybody ever seen Terminator 1, I think Terminator 2, where he meets this lady and she turns from this nice, sweet old woman to this real Amazon woman. That's the way it is being with a narcissist. You can be the sweetest, sedate person. I mean, you're just nice, and a lot of times you hate yourself for being so kind to people. After the narcissist, oh, you walk around with a Uzi, a grenade, and a launch rocket. Come on, somebody. And so the narcissist really trains you in other things, and you got to learn how to not to be aggressive and apprehensive, because you got to remember you're angry not at the people that you're meeting. You're really angry at the narcissist, but you can't get back at the narcissist. So you take it out on the people that you're meeting. They get the effects of what the narcissists have done. And many of you have an opportunity to meet someone that could love you once you get over the hurt and pain. And then you don't, because you still remembering what was done. And so now you are angry at the world. You are after the world. No, you're not. You're after the narcissist. And he's escaped, because the narcissists also know when to move on. And Christina and Maribel, that's why I'm telling you, Shane Lee, the narcissist knows when to move on. They smart enough to have enough supply. So if they keep coming, they think they got a chance. And you got to make sure that you tell them there's no way that you have a chance here ever again. And you do that not in your words, because that's NC, but you do it in your conduct. You stay focused. You do everything you can, Shanley, to get a restraining order. Even if you don't, you've applied for it. And you get people around you, especially men, and let them know what is happening. And get people that he has no contact with, that won't be a flying monkey. And see, when they gang stalk you, you need to get people too, because they are messengers of hell, and they will give explicit information back to the narcissist. And the narcissist want to know everywhere you go, everything you do, who came out of your house, what time the lights went out, what time the lights came on, if you walking, if you're driving, if you're taking the bus, if you're taking the Uber. They want to know everything. And you have to make sure that, none of your stuff is bugged. Check your car out, take it to the auto mechanic, make sure they look over your car, because the narcissists, and the more intelligent, the more technically savvy they are, the more dangerous they can be. Boy, this is almost like what do you call it? A Sherlock Holmes, because the narcissist, and once you meet them, you wished 1,000 times you had to listen to those red flags when it's too good to be true. Why isn't he married? If he's this good, why I'm the one who get him? How come somebody else didn't get him? He's 45 years old, nobody got him. He don't have any children, or if he had children, something always wrong with his first wife. Then you live with him, you know what was wrong with his first wife, him. You see. And so once you are free, I can't emphasize this enough, stay free. SF, stay free. NC, no contact, none. So Mary Bell, it's good not to talk to them, ever, ever again. uh, Holocaust said, I'm learning to listen to my gut feeling about new people. She said, I meet, and she said, and then I eventually see why I felt that way. See, you're smarter than you think. You're smarter than you think. That's why he chose you. He knew that. He knew you were smart. Now you know that. And you know what? I'm glad you'll listen, Haka, to your feeling, your gut feelings. They are not wrong. They're always right. They said, follow your first feeling. No, you follow your gut feeling, because you are out to protect you. And nobody's going to do that better than you but God. And so check that out. When it feels uneasy, even if you can't describe it, even if you can't put your hands on it, trust it anyway. We can explain it later. We can understand it later, but let's get safety now. She said, Shanley said, yes, 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 Apostle. Absolutely. Danielle said, great analogy and analysis. The information is so needed. Absolutely. And Christina said, facts, stay away. She said, the pain hurts. She said, but it turns into growing pains. She said, now you can rebuild your life and help others and get the life that you wanted. She said, and you deserve. God removes you, so run and don't look back. Oh, Christina, that was good right there. That was good right there. A narcissist is a walking weapon. They are poisonous gas. They are nuclear system. They explode in your life. Every day there's a bomb, and you don't get out of the way of it. It melts all of your emotions. It melts all of your life. It melts all of your sensory. And the longer you stay with them, the more confusing it can be. I have a video called When the Supply Has Had Enough. Enough is enough. Go to that video. Look at that video. When the supplies had enough. You will know when you have triggered to the finish moment. When you've come to the place because you're numb. You're not struggling. You're not in pain. You don't feel nothing. And so they can leave and stay away for 30 years. You could care less. And I mean, this was somebody you loved his toes. I mean, in mud, you would kiss his toes. But when you got enough, he can fly. He can go to the moon. You won't care. You got to get to the point that the thing that kills you, you die to it. The things that hurt you, you die to it. And that takes something with your mind. Wherever your mind is, that you are there. The reason you're there with the narcissist is because he's in your head. He's in your head all day. You think about him all day. And every time something go wrong, you think how to get it right. And when he lies or when he's hurt, you think about how to correct that. Come on, empath. You can't do it. You can't do right and be for someone else what they can only be to themselves. A brain and a mind and emotions. Those belong to them. and you can't take responsibility for it. And what the narcissist does to supply is get you to take responsibility for how they feel, and then you do it, and then you get hurt, you get wounded, you get devastated. And when you get wounded and you get devastated, the narcissist is at their most high. I mean, they sleep good, they're at peace because you're miserable. But when they are challenged and it seems like you're at peace, all hell will break loose in the house. And Tanshan said, yep, that's absolutely right. Hakka said, yep, that gut feeling is the Holy Spirit. Yep, telling you. Simone said, yep, it's so true. It is so true. The only reason you with the narcissist is because you love them, and they love bombed you. They took the time to give you love that you always wanted, you always felt. And then sometime you look up because that wouldn't have been the person you were with. So you know there's another force that is at work, because you feel like you can't leave. It's almost like this power is this force that is keeping you there, and you know to stay there is hurtful if you have kids, for you and the children, but you stay there because you've been trained to trauma bond. Christina said, think of all the pain they've caused. She said, think of all the pain that they've caused. She said, and the facts that you've learned. She said, you know the facts. Facts don't change. Narcs don't change. She said, and they will never give you the life you want. Absolutely. Raquel said, I went no contact 5 weeks after the discard, and he has been hoovering ever since. I changed my phone number and bought a new phone. She said, I believe he's tracking my phone. He can't track it unless he can get to it. If he can't get to your phone, he can't put a tracking mechanism on it. Hawker said, I still fight with wanting to reach out. She said, but then I remember how much I disliked him and how he treated me and talked to me. She said, and it isn't worth it. But see what's going to have to happen, Hawker? You're going to have to heal. Because believe it or not, that's not enough. That's not enough to make you stop. That's not enough to make you quit. Alcoholics know that they are having cirrhosis of the liver. They know that they got blackout spells. And guess what? You hold a bottle to them, they'll go back. So what you got to do is recover. You have to heal. You have to give you have to give yourself all the reasons to live. Once you get something to live for, you refuse to get something to die for. And the narcissist is to die for, and you are to live for. Cluster B said, please listen to Apostle Helen. Narc sucked the life out of you. She said, I was numb and couldn't cry or laugh. She said, it took many weeks of Apostle Helen counseling me once a week before the brain fog reduced. And see, that was 33 years. Karen, we tip our hats off to you, because 33 years with a narcissist, 33 years of discard, gaslighting, lying, cheating, word salad. Come on. 33 years of trauma bonding, and you finally get free. Oh, yeah. You are on a journey, baby girl. And in the end, you win. In the end, you get stronger. And you're going to have so many women to see their way. The lights will finally come on, and the darkness will leave. Grandma JJ said, a lot of them put trackers on your phone. Good for you to get another one. She said, same goes for computer. Those have those checked out by text. Absolutely. Because they can track all of your motion and movement. That's why I was said those technical savvy knocks. They will go through your system. They got cameras in the house, that is checking you out, even in the bathroom, everywhere you go. If they got access to it, they will do it. Raquel said, I I believe putting a tracker device on my phone before he left because my apps was disappearing and static during phone calls after he left. Yeah, I would definitely get that checked out because he can track everything, everything. And let me tell you something, watch the internet because now on the internet, there's a person, you sometimes you feel lonely, you want to talk to someone, and all of a sudden this guy comes up and he tells you who he is. Sometimes it could be the narc. They have it where you can change faces and change voices and move. And so you see the person moving, talking to you, but that's not the person, that's the narc with an app, and the app allowed them to change their persona, change their voice. And for 6 months, you've been talking to this person, and then you find out you was talking to the narc all the time. You have to be careful with social media because who you're talking to is not the person you're talking to. It's good to meet people in person now because they got so many impersonations until it is endless. And these apps are moving just like you see me, they move. Someone could take my face and my voice and put it on, and you'll think you're talking to me, and you're not talking to me. You're talking to an app. So, Grandma JJ, that was good. Christina said, if you get what you want, it comes at a price, and they will fight you a few days later. Remember the pain compared to the gain. Happy couples glow radiant, peace and happiness. She said, a soulmate brings peace and not war. Excellent. Love that, love that, love that. Karen said, yes, Apostle. Counseling is awesome. Thank you so much, baby girl. And Raquel said, I believe a tracking device. Okay. Mother JJ. All right. So Haka said, I had to pray to God to help me to leave the narc if he wasn't for me because I felt like I couldn't leave. And it happened. She said, I refuse to go to the narc of any of my abuser. I'm protecting me now. Absolutely. And you know what? Don't get into a relationship immediately. You're taking your narc with you. So if you get in a relationship, is you the last narc and this new person? And 9 times out of 10, if you haven't healed from the last person, you either get an empath who got drawn to you because of a narcissistic frequency, or you got another narc who's drawn to you because of a narcissistic frequency. And so you got you, the narcissist that you left or left you, and the new person, which is an empath or a narc. Because a lot of time you may be drawn to an empath, and the empath mistake the frequency for caring and love. And what it is the old frequency of the narcissist that attracted the empath. And then when you meet the empath, you're not satisfied with the empath. They seem too weak for you, and because you're used to the narcissist, and the frequency of an empath is different because they want to take the load, they want to care for you, and you're not used to it. You used to having to care for yourself, being with that narc for 10 years. Now you got somebody who want to give to you and care for you. You start thinking suspicious, something is wrong with you. No, they're an empath, and that's what the empath does. And they are not even drawn to you. The empath don't know, and they probably just came out of an abusive relationship. You just came out of an abusive relationship, and if they were with a narcissist and then you were with a narcissist, it's the frequency that became the connectivity. You two were attracted to each other, empath and a supply. So the empath and the supply meet, and y'all both have a narcissistic frequency that have not been detracted from your life. And this lack of distraction, the distraction from your life have brought you together. And so now you are wounded beings still coercing from narcissistic frequency. And that's why it didn't work. Y'all end up leaving each other, and y'all think it was each other. No, it was your past that kissed each other. You were just the body that felt and touched it. All righty. Mother JJ said, God gave me away from the narcissist. It took a while to recover. 13 months for me and still healing. Wow. Good job, Grandmother JJ. But you are healing. And Stanley said, yes, Apostle, you are right. I have attracted narc after narc after narc. She said, and I refuse. to be in a relationship time here, because you still got the frequency. You have to demagnetize. But to demagnetize, you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself time to heal. You've been in that relationship for how long? How deep did you go? How committed were you? What did it cost you? And the deeper the commitment, the deeper the cost, the more time you need in recovery, because you have to go back through all of those channels. It's like walking backwards in the life that you came out of. And then once you get to the end of the beginning, then now you start going forward. Where you was in that relationship for 10 years and you're walking back, it go forward. That's 10 years back and 10 years forward. So even when you are with your therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, or a life coach, you know, when you are walking with them, they're going to walk you backward into things, then move you forward, walk you backward into things and move you forward. And recovery is painful. Surgery is painful, but the recovery is not the surgery. The recovery is when you are getting out of the hospital and all of the things that the anesthesia took care of, they're alive. You feel the surgery. You know exactly where all the points are. Why? Because you're hurting and you're looking for a pain pill. And the pain pill is with the therapist. But there are sometimes they can tell you these are addictive and you don't want to take one addiction for another addiction. So you go back through the pain, through recovery, and you walk backwards into the pain, but they don't leave you there. They visit you there so you can understand the whys, and you can come out of the whys into the hows. And the hows is what moves you forward, how you go forward, how you going to connect to your future, how you going to reconnect to your goals, how you going to reconnect to 13 years ago when you was on fire, when you had your goals, when you had your entrepreneurship, when you just got out of school. Now you're reconnecting to that, but you're moving it forward with the wisdom and experience of 13 years. That can be difficult, but very, very, very possible. Hawkeye said, I met a new narc in May and let him go after 2 weeks. She said he was worse and did all the same thing as the other narc, and immediately, she said, and to a whole extent. Exactly. Hey, ladies, gentlemen, if you don't get healed, you're going to attract who you are. And who you are right now is where you've been. You've been in devastation. You've been in pain. You've been in trauma. And that's what you are introducing to the new person you meet. And if they're a narcissist, they can pick up a frequency. And once the narcissists pick up that you are used to them and you're used to the frequency, they come in with all guns out because they know they can lock and load. You already got the experience. You already been broke in. It's like a virgin. When the virgin, you first make love to that virgin, you want to be tender. You want to be easy. That's their first time. But once you get used to it, I mean, y'all everywhere, on top of the ceiling, all over the place. What? And that's what the narcissist does. The narcissist take you all over the place. Once they pick up that frequency, and you got to know when some of you have met an empath, that the empath is trying to take responsibility for your pain, and they're trying to absorb your pain. They're trying, and that's what a empath do. They try to absorb your pain, and they stay on you until they agitate you and irritate you, and you're wondering, if this person, they are so nice to me, why can't I stand them? 9 times out of 10, you got yourself an unhealed empath that just came out of the trauma like you came out, or they are new at this relationship and they picked up some on you and can't quite understand, but it felt like you needed help and they were coming to your rescue. That's the empath. And the empath that is not skilled will come in your life and try to pick up all your trauma, all your hurting, and then you start thinking you a narc because you start mistreating the empath, and you're wondering, why am I mistreating them when they're so nice to me? Because you're not healed. You're not getting the empath. You're getting the narc, and the empath is in the way of your recovery. Boy, that was a mouthful. Okay. Hello there. Is that Prometheus? How are you? Prometheus, predator. Ooh, why would you name yourself that? Why did you name yourself that? A predator is not good. We don't like predators. We don't like predators. Ugh, that's not a good name. What does Prometheus mean? Talk to us. Tell us what this Prometheus mean. She said, this is cluster B. She said, Daniel, Dr. Carmen recommend Apostle Helen was watching about 15 channels night and day. She said, the first time I saw Apostle Helen, I knew she was one. Now I actually look into the mirror. Wow. That's a compliment. Haka said, I can't stand him. Yeah, because that Raquel told Haka she can't stand her knock. She said, girl, you ain't never lie. Same here as Danielle. King's Corner, why he's watching you. Okay, let's discern here, guys. Raquel said, isn't he bothering you on your new phone? King's Corner is the question. Okay, Raquel, just say no contact, cut off all flying monkeys. They don't want to talk. They don't want to take no for an answer. Absolutely. Not today. I've changed my number and got a new phone. Absolutely. Good girl. That's what you do. Narcissists don't like no, they don't like you to pull away, push away. Because what a narcissist does, they will stalk you till they get you because they can't lose. They hate losing. They don't want you. You really taking them through a lot of trauma. But they're going to go through everything so they can get you just to drop you and say, I won. And they will go to any extent to win. Because you got to remember, life is a game to them. Your life is a chessboard, and they can risk your life to play the game. And they will do that because narcissists have a tendency to venture off in an alternate reality. That's why television programs, they relive that out as if it's true, and they will get a character and live through that character because they venture out in a alternate a different reality. So they live alternative realities, and these alternative realities came from different characters that they tapped into, and they bring that into your life and they live that life. That's why sometimes you look at the narcissists and you think they're bipolar. They're what now? You're thinking, what character is this? What am I hearing? What is this that's going on? Why? Because the narcissists live in alternate realities. And these alternate realities is their reality. She said, hello, Sandy Lou, how are you? She said, listening from the UK. Hey, Jesus, Betty girl, how are you? Thank you, thank you. Yes, ma'am, I will. And Angelique said, hello, Miss Sadler. Thank you for the thoughts and insights into the Jezebel narcissist. Just happy and encouraged myself in encouraging others in the truth of thought because I moved on. Okay, good girl. Good girl. But I want you to do something. I want you all to study Jezebel. I want you to go and study Jezebel. Jezebel was definitely a narcissist, but her whole scheme was witchcraft. She was born into the black arts. She learned it from her grandfather. And when she married Ahab, she was a controller of the kingdom. Check out the nature of that spirit. Uh, yes, Christina, she said, I have a question. Is being an empath a spiritual gift from birth, or is it a sign of trauma? Do you become an empath because of trauma? I keep hearing mixed view. No, an empath is not a spiritual gift. An empath is the nature of a person. Mother Teresa didn't have a spiritual gift of being an empath. What came out of her was the result of her being an empath. The empath is the person who have the gift of mercy. That's why they can work good in hospitals, work good with people, situation, domestic violence, different things like that, that really help people. They are the helpers of this world. When you need a person to go into real sensitive situations that has the suffering of people, great suffering, empath can do that. They can take it because of the gift of mercy. But the empath, they're born with the nature of an empath. An empath, you don't have to make an empath. An empath is born into mercy and compassion, and then this is cultivated. A narcissist is not born, they are traumatized into a situation. So it happened as a result of what happened in their life. But an empath is will always have mercy and compassion as the main theme of their life. That's why they can be kind. And when they're the opposite of who they are horrible, they're horrific, because there's some dumb, some a dark empath that done turn, but they still compassionate in a different way. They're devious in what they do. When you get a wounded empath and they've been hurt so, and they close themselves off, and then they turn, they don't want to care, but they don't stay that way. Because that's their nature. They're given to their nature, like a narcissist is given to their nature. So, Christina, an empath is born with mercy, born with compassion, and we label them because they are helpers in the earth. And that is not gift, because you don't have to be a Christian or a natural flow. And if you wanted to look at it, I guess you can look at it as a type gifting to people who need help. They're a gift to people who need help. But one thing that qualifies an empath, you're going to see mercy and you're going to see compassionate, and not in just a regular way. It's over the top. It's extreme. It's astronomical. And that's why they're very sensitive to how people feel, and they really care about how people feel. And empaths sometimes have to get beyond how people feel, because it can actually stop them from a destiny, because an empath have problems handling rejection even more than a regular person. A regular person have a problem having rejection, but so does an empath. So, Christine, I hope that has answered your question. And you don't have to be confused, because an empath, they were born with gift and compassion, and they are labor with that gift as an empath. And then they move into their gift with their caring, and they are dynamic in perilous situation. They come alive when they help people. That's why the narcissists love them. Okay. Christina said, that's what she said. That's what I thought. She said, because I've been this way from a child. She said, but then I hear about the badge of honor. It means you've been abused and learned to fear energy to survive your environment. Not all empaths have been abused. You don't have to be abused to be an empath. You just have to be born with the trace of it. No, not all empaths have been abused. Okay. Thank you so much, Cluster B. Thank you. That's what I was thinking too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and Grandma JJ said, I can feel the energy now. It's very true. Absolutely. And Angelique said, yes, I learned this, but I always had to learn to separate my thoughts from those who was talking with. She said, God would judge me about the things, but the covert was very God would nudge me about things. She said, but the covert was very cunning. But was with me, deceived me long. But God wasn't with me. Okay, I think she was saying God wouldn't let her be deceived. Okay. Pinky said, questions. Great question, Christina. Uh, Good job. She's a trolls get free entry to the block party. Yes, ma'am. Block them. Get them, girls. She said, I knew you would be. She said, that name was picked to inflame me. Yes. Okay, she said, exactly. Hated through failed narcissists. Be willing to look inside themselves and see they're jacked up. She said, need help, deliverance, and realize the free will the narcissist have. Pray, move in destiny. Absolutely. Okay. Haka said, religious narc call all women Jezebel. because they don't understand it. Jezebel was called Jezebel because of her controlling spirit. She was a witch. She was a high priestess. She was a sorceress. And so when people talk about Jezebelic spirit, they're talking about witchcraft and sorcery, control elements. And yes, she was a pure knock. She could kill at a hair's breadth, and she would do anything she wanted to do to people and have no emotions about it. All right, so do any of you have any more questions for me? I would love to answer some more questions before we retire this program. This is always a good program, and I love it, and I love you all. And I love the way you all share with each other. It really makes me feel 100% just totally honored because of the kind of information you all give to each other. Thank you for caring about people who are learning to care about themselves again. Thank you so much. Raquel said, thank you so much. I feel like I'm in therapy. Listening to you help us. So therapeutic. Thank you, Raquel. And Karen says, Danielle, she said, Danielle, thank you. She said, we must protect each other, especially our new tribe members, those being Hoover. Absolutely. Hawkeye said, yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're one unit. We're one family. And when we come together, we are a formidable force. Our mind exuberate positive energy and confidence to one another. And it doesn't matter what we went through. Ladies, don't go back. That is the tip for the night. Don't ever go back. And like Haka says, sometime when I want to reach out, then your wisdom kick in to tell you don't reach and don't go out, don't go back. Don't go back to no place you've been. Erase the tracks as the evidence that you've ever been there. Because life is so huge. And you have a right to live all of it and to love all of it and to be free in it. I promise you, if you would stay no contact, it seemed like it would never end. But there is never a storm that comes in the US of A that lasts for years and years. The storm comes and it can wreak havoc for a few minutes or a few days if it's a hurricane, and it goes like everything else. Your trauma will leave you. Your healing will come to you. But it's work, ladies. It's work, gentlemen. You have to be willing to do the work. The narcissist was, and now you have to do the work. It's your turn. When you have been freed, and discard is a gift, take advantage of it. Do the work because life is waiting to embrace you. Life is waiting to kiss you again with the real kiss of life, the real kiss of love. It's not over for you yet. It's just beginning. I love you to life and I want to appreciate you. Those of you who have not subscribed, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Push that bell. Every time I come on live, guess what? You will be alerted. And every time I upload new content, you will be there. I need you to go and look at the content that I upload. Make sure you look at it and be blessed by it. The last one I did, part two, dating, a relationship and characteristics of the narcissist. Part two, go look at that video. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Some of you will even be triggered by some of the characteristics because it went beyond dating. It actually went into marriage. And that's what I said, a relationship and characteristics, because some of them actually alluded into the marriage. It protruded into the marriage. It didn't stay in the dating. And ladies, when your narcissist try to hoover you, you hoover life. You go after life. Stay away and don't ever go back. All right, ladies, I love you. Thank you so much, Shanley. You are such a blessing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Feel free to write me, Destiny Hepper 12s at gmail.com. Destiny Hepper 12s at gmail.com. And remember, Dr. Brian is having a conference the 31st of July at the end of the month. And I'm telling you, if you can't go to Dallas, then register at Zoom, because it is going to be a blessing. And you know how gifted and talented and very knowledgeable she is. And I know that healing will take place. Some of you, answers that you've been looking for, I believe it's going to, some of them may come through the conference, and it would be a blessing to you. So go on Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, and register. And remember, the more people that register, the better price it is. Thank you, Tayshawn. You such a sweetheart. I love you for that. Thank you. All right, y'all. I love you. And remember, make sure you listen up for my videos. Hugs and kisses to everyone. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, moderator. Love you. God bless.